Hello, everyone. Today we will be discussing which candidate is better fitted to be president. Come VP Kamala Harris and ex-president Donald Trump. That's who are we discussing today. We're going to discuss their bios, each candidate bios, and we're going to see which one is the better choice. And hold on, because I saved everything. We're going to discuss is because we have 42 days left before the election on November the 5th. And I'm gonna introduce each candidate. Thank you for coming to my live. You are valued, you are appreciated. And then I'm gonna decide which is the sharpest or brighter candidate after I give you all a bio. And each candidate, how they answer questions in a particular video that I am going to show y'all. Who's been honest with the American people? Because I'm going to show you a video, then they'll let me know who's been honest with the American people. And then we're going to discuss Kamala Harris' name has been taken off some of the ballots sent to Montana. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about the 544 Haitians living in Florida and discuss Florida could be turning blue. I'm going to show y'all a video. They're talking about it. And then we're going to discuss that as well. And then talk about ballots that are being taken and destroyed. And the ones that, like this one particular lady, she's standing by the drop off where you drop your ballots off. And she's, thank you, Vera. And she's telling the people to put the ballots in her bag instead of putting in the drop box. And what they're doing, they're taking the ballots and they're destroying them. So we're going to get started. Our subject matter today is which candidate is better fitted to be president. We're discussing VP Kamala Harris and ex-president Donald Trump. So that's what we're talking about today. Who's the sharpest and brighter candidate? So we're going to get started. I'm going to give y'all the bio of Donald Trump first, and then we'll discuss Kamala Harris, okay? So Donald Trump, after defeating their respective former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in a cleanly electoral contest, Donald Trump became the 45th president of the United States on January 20, 2017. His victory in polls surprised many Americans as he came into the office without any prior experience in military or government. Donald Trump made his stand known to the world that U.S. would always come first in his policies on assuming power. Without menacing words, he fulfilled this to the best of his ability as he implemented stiffer immigration policies such as building the U.S.-Mexican border wall. As a U.S. president, he recorded some notable achievements such as the war against global terrorism, reconstructing the federal judiciary system, expansion of the Space Force, tax reform, and the death of ISIS leader Abdul, I can't say his name, so I'm going to skip over that. Furthermore, while serving as a U.S. president, his major failures included the poor management of the COVID-19 pandemic, which led to the death of over 400 Americans, jobs lost, and the economic recession. Again, the handling of George Floyd's death that later metamorphosed into the Black Lives Matter campaign globally, the trade war with China, the Ukraine scandal, his attempt to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Also, he made history by becoming the first president to be impeached twice by the House of Representatives. Mr. Trump was impeached for abuse of office and obstruction of Congress in 2019. The second impeachment centered the incitement of his supporters after losing 2020 presidential election to Joe Biden, which led to the invasion of the Capitol Hill building. Despite his loss in 2020 presidential election, he never conceded to the loss. He believed that the election was a fraud, and this was written by Rose Wood. So that is Donald Trump. So now I'm going to give you a bio on Miss Kamala Harris. Hold on, let me get to it, okay? Thank you all for coming to my live. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you like my channel. Thank you so much. Tonight, we're going to decide which candidate is better fitted to be president. So that's why right now I'm giving y'all a bio on each candidate, okay? I'm going to be fair. So I had to do some research for these candidates. Just a moment, okay? Okay. Kamala Harris is the Vice President of the United States. She fights for the people. She says, when you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for. She's not fighting for the highest honor in the Oval Office to be our president. Knowing the power and the strength of Kamala Harris, she will win. When we fight, we win, uttered by Kamala Harris. Fighting for the people is nothing new for Vice President Kamala Harris. She was sworn into the United States Senate in 2017, where she campaigned to fight hunger, provide rent relief, improve maternal health care, expand access to capital for small businesses, revitalize America's infrastructure, and combat the climate crisis. She was born in Oakland, California. As a daughter of immigrants, she grew up surrounded by a diverse community in a loving extended family. Her mom, a breast cancer scientist and a pioneer in her own right, who came to the United States from India at the age of 19 and then received her doctorate the same year that Kamala was born. Kamala and her sister Maya are so inspired by their mom. Kamala is a proud daughter of immigrant parents. Both of her parents were active in the civil rights movement. As a young child, she attended civil rights marches with her parents. She graduated from Howard University and the University of California Hastings College of Law. She married Doug Elfhoff, a lawyer, in 2014. They both have paved the way for greater with their blended family of 2 children, Ella and Cole. Kamala is now campaigning for the big seat in the Oval Office. She will win. She's a winner. I have always believed you must speak things into existence. President Kamala Harris. So I'm going to give y'all some of the things that she has accomplished as VP. So, because, I gave y'all things at the beginning, what Donald Trump accomplished when he went into office in 2016. So now I'm going to discuss the things that VP Kamala Harris accomplished as VP. Okay. Cast tie-breaking vote for the American Rescue Plan of 2021. Passed the American Rescue Plan, resulting in $1.9 trillion in economic stimulus. Extended the child tax credit through the American Rescue Plan. Extended unemployment benefits through the American Rescue Plan. Passed a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. Secured funding for electric school buses in the infrastructure bill. Secured funding to combat wildfires and droughts in the infrastructure bill. Secured funding for replacing lead water service lines. Engaged with lawmakers at least 150 times for infrastructure investment. Led diplomatic mission to Mexico to address migration issues. Launched the Central America Forward Initiative. Secured $4.2 billion in private sector commitments for Central America. Visit Paris to strengthen U.S.-France relationships. Visit Singapore and Vietnam to bolster economic and strategic ties. Visit Portland to support NATO allies during the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Visit Romania to support NATO allies during the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Lounge the Fight for Reproductive Freedoms tour. Visit a Planned Parenthood clinic in Minnesota. And that's where Government Tim Walz is from, her new VP. Visited I said that already. Passed the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act. Promoted racial equality in pandemic resources through Pacific initiatives. Chaired the National Space Council. Visit NASA's Space Flight Center to promote space policies. Excuse me, y'all. Passed the Freedom to Vote Act in the House. Passed the John Lewis Voting Rights Achievement Act in the House. Built coalitions for voting rights protections. Supported the Affordable Care Act through specific policy measures. Expanded health care coverage through policy. Passed the incentive for debt-free college education. Hosted a STEM event for women and girls at the White House. Championed criminal justice reform through specific legislation. Secured passage of the bipartisan assault weapons ban. Expanded background checks for gun purchases through legislation. Increased the minimum wage through specific policies actions. Implemented economic justice policies. Expand healthcare coverage through policy. Secured funding for affordable housing. Secured funding for affordable education. Launched the Justice is Coming Home campaign for veterans' mental health. Proposed legislation for easier legal actions against financial institutions. Strengthened the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Secured investment in early childhood education. Launched maternal health incentives. So that is what Kamala Harris has done since she's been VP. I gave you her background about who she's married to, and she's been in that marriage 10 years. Now it's been a month, which was her anniversary, the night that she accepted the nomination as a Democratic candidate for the election 2024. She has been with Doug 10 years. So we're going to do some comparison. I gave you both of their backgrounds. And I gave you what they have done. When Donald Trump was president, I gave you what he did as president. And Kamala Harris is VP. I have given you what she has done in her past and what she's done while she was VP. She's pretty much been for the people the whole time. And I'm not trying to be funny about it, but it's true because she's been doing infrastructure before she became VP, working with the people for reproductive rights, client crisis, working with that. So hold on, because I have a list that I go by. Give me one moment, y'all, because I'm going to stick to my list so I can stay focused. So we're going to watch a video of Donald Trump, and then we're going to watch a video of VP Kamala Harris, and then we're going to discuss who's the brighter, sharpest candidate from these videos, okay? Thank you for coming to my live. Please hit the like button. You are welcome, you are valued, and you are all kings and queens. So I'm going to show y'all a video, okay? I got to wait till it come up. Give me a moment, okay? I have the air conditioning on, so if I'm sniffling, it's because my vent is above my head, coming directly on my head. And yes, we're in a season where I shouldn't have the air on too much, but in Atlanta, it is hot. It was 91 degrees today. It was too hot for me. Okay, what is going on here? Okay. Oh, I don't want to know about no Diddy. Okay. I'm about to show you a video of Donald Trump. Then I'm going to show you a video of Kamala Harris. And we're going to compare the two, okay? Thank you for coming in my live. Devilish Chris, thank you for being a moderator. Teal, I love you. Queen Teal, thank you, TJ, for coming to my live. Thank you, Cubans for Trump, for coming to my live. Thank you, Queen Bianca, for being a moderator. You are valued and you are loved. Thank you. Let me go up. Thank you, Second Comment, for coming to my live. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kimberly, for coming to my live. Thank you, CNCV, for coming to my live. David, thank you for coming to my live. Robert Dawson, thank you for coming to my live. Tough Dog 2, thank you for coming to my live. Dan Perkins, thank you for coming to my live. Patricia, thank you for coming to my live. Kimberly, thank you for coming to my live. Sir Beg, thank you for coming to my live. Hunter, thank you for coming to my live. Cox Smith, thank you for coming to my live. David, thank you for coming to my live. LaSwan, thank you for coming to my live. Garrett, thank you for coming to my live. Mick Swagger, thank you for coming to my live. David, thank you for coming to my live. Sean P, thank you for coming to my live. 2855, thank you for coming to my live. I wonder why this video, okay, here we go.
Dentists hate when you do this, but they can't.
Okay, I'm gonna mute that commercial, then
$100 dental device.
We'll get to it. So this is gonna be a video about Donald Trump, and they're somewhat gonna compare him to President Ronald Reagan. So we're gonna watch that in just a moment once this commercial goes off.
It's called Sono Sparkle.
Okay.
What is the difference between the Reagan Republican Party that what is the difference?
Sorry about that, you all.
Between the Reagan Republican Party that he would take hold of and really shape, having cut the deal with the moral majority on abortion, and for the first time putting that plank, that social plank, in our more libertarian-oriented platform in the 1980 race, and today's GOP, for example, which has cut a deal with Trump on things like tariffs and Putin.
Well, I think the essential paradox of Ronald Reagan, which really helps to understand who he was, and why Trump is very different. I think the essential thing to focus on is the fact that there was a big difference between Reagan as the campaigner and Reagan as somebody who was in office as governor and as president. As a campaigner, he was often quite far to the right, and he accused Democrats of marching America towards communism. He claimed that Medicare and Medicaid and other social welfare legislation was going to lead to the complete loss of freedom in America. He opposed civil rights legislation, and he talked about.
Hold on, y'all. What did I hit? What did I hit? Y'all. I hit somebody's thing. Hold on, bear with me, because I don't even know what I hit. Okay, y'all there? Can y'all hear me? Please let me know you can hear me.
Sort of the right man, that he was their man, that he shared their beliefs, and he largely did. But now here's the key turn. When he was actually in office, he showed that he was not just an ideologue, he was also a pragmatist. He was able to pivot to the center and get things
Thank
done.
you, Eric. Thank you so much.
For conservatives.
Freddie, thank you for coming to my live.
Who go over the cliff.
Oh, okay, you can? Because somebody said they can't hear me.
He often said, if I get 80% of what I want, that's a victory. I don't have to get 100%. So he was able to compromise with Democrats in Sacramento and Washington.
Thank you, Bianca.
That if anybody else had done,
thank y'all for coming to my live. Please hit the like button. You are valued. You are all kings and queens. Thank you.
As governor of California, he raised taxes and raised spending. He cuts taxes and spending in some ways, but he also raised it in other ways. In 1986, as president, he signed an immigration bill that legalized millions of undocumented immigrants, what Republicans today would call an amnesty bill. And of course, his crowning achievement as president, after a lifetime as an staunch anti-communist, he wound up spending his second term as president working with the world's leading communist, Mikhail Gorbachev, to end the Cold War and reform the Soviet Union, even at a time when a lot of conservatives said that he was being snookered, that Gorbachev was taking him for a ride. But he was convinced that Gorbachev was somebody he could do business with, and he was right. So at the end of the day, what I would argue is what made Reagan a successful campaigner, a successful candidate, was that he was able to cater and express and embody conservative ideology. But what made him a successful leader as both governor and as president was that he was able to
please hit the like button.
Ideology. And I think that's really one, Trump has so many shortcomings, but that's a huge one, because With Trump, there's no real difference between him as the campaigner and him as the president. He doesn't pivot to the center. He doesn't make compromises. And that's why he's not going to go down as a successful president. And Reagan is, because he was able to be much more pragmatic. It's really that streak of
Hi,
pragmatism, which I
AC.
think accounts for why he's rated as one of the top 10 presidents in our history.
Do you think that accounts for the drag on the party, in the sense that Reagan, you had this movement occur where Democrats moved towards Reagan. You know, you had independents move toward Reagan, and I remember, Reagan Democrats playing a very
Please hit the
prominent
like
role
button.
in-
Thank you.
Is it that sense, that ability to be pragmatic when it's required, and have people see that and trust that aspect of your leadership, which is clearly devoid in Trump, which is why his ceiling is 46%. He's not really claiming more than that, and a lot of that is really kind of sort of the entertainment value of Donald Trump, as opposed to the real substantive, narrative of the man.
I think a lot of it was the fact that Reagan was so pragmatic and so willing to compromise, but I think also a lot of it was that he was willing to reach across the aisle, and he had a very pleasing personality. That was kind of his secret weapon. In 1964, when Reagan, as a former movie actor, was campaigning for Barry Goldwater, and people would hear both Goldwater and Reagan speaking at the same events, they would often come away saying, "Gee, I wish Reagan were the candidate rather than Goldwater," because Goldwater was this kind of fierce, uncompromising, take no prisoners conservative who was very gruff and kind of hard edged. Whereas Reagan, I ran across a newspaper account in the 1960s that said the Reagan personality is like a soothing, warm bathwater. It was very pleasing. He said many of the same things as Goldwater, but he said them with a smile and a twinkle in his eye and a joke that made them go down much easier. And so, it was easy to hate Barry Goldwater or a lot of other kind of hard-edged conservatives, Newt Gingrich or others later on. It was very hard to hate Ronald Reagan. Very few people, actively hated Reagan, especially if they met him, because even if you disagreed with the guy, he was so amiable, so pleasant. And he didn't engage in kind of the slash and burn rhetoric against his political opponents that you so often heard. In fact, he almost never referred to his political opponents except as my friends, or my friends on the other side of the aisle, or something like that. He didn't call them vermin or engage in name calling, anything like that. He understood that, he was a former Democrat turned Republican, so he understood that he had to appeal more than just at his core, and that's why he was able to become so popular.
Okay.
Picture this.
Now we're going to go and watch a video of Kamala Harris, okay? One moment, please. Just a moment. Thank you.
Ballot in November, and the new NBC News poll has good news for the Harris-Walz campaign. Vice President Harris leads Donald Trump among Black voters by 78 points. That's a dramatic change from July, when President Biden was atop the Democratic ticket and had a 57-point advantage. Among Latino voters, Harris leads Trump 54% to 35%, a 19-point margin, which is very similar to the margin Biden had over Trump in July. Joining me now, Cliff Albright, co-founder and executive director of the Black Voters Matter Fund, and Maria Teresa Kumar, president and CEO of Voter Latino and an MSNBC contributor. Thank you both very much for being here. Maria Teresa, you are here on set with me, so I'm going to start with you. Just the NBC News poll says that the support for Vice President Harris now is similar to what it was for Biden in July. Is that what Voto Latino is finding through its own polling and surveying?
Not at all. If anything, what we saw her going into the convention, Biden before the convention, when he was on top of the ticket, it was 47, 38, 17 for independents. So what we saw going into the convention, she was at 60%. Trump was
60.
6-0. Trump was at 29, and RFK was at 7%. What we found so surprising about that poll was that we expected the independents to come home to the Democratic side. We expected that. We didn't expect them to be the Trump voters going on to Kamala Harris. And we're seeing this. This was 2,000 voters in key battleground states. So we're talking about North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada. And that was before the convention bump. And we're seeing that shift even more among young people. People are very enthusiastic. And I think that one of it was, first, they were trying to figure out who she was in defining her, but they liked her backstory. But now she's talking about policy. The biggest issue, for example, for a young voter, black and brown, between 18 and 29 is housing. So it was not a surprise that she came out with that really ambitious housing policy of building affordable housing while giving first-time homeowners $25,000. That didn't come out of the blue. That came out of research that we've been producing and other organizations talking specifically about what voters need to hear.
And Cliff, among African American voters, are you seeing that same spike in interest and spike in support that Maria Teresa was talking about among Latino voters?
Yes, definitely. And to be clear, we've been saying that this would happen for a year now since people first started asking about some of these polls. And we were saying, look, the closer we get to the election, the more people become clear about the choice, the more that people start receiving some information about the candidates, then Biden and now Harris, that you would start to see these poll numbers and these favorabilities increase. And that's exactly what's happening. Some of that increase, a big part of that increase that we're seeing is that energy of the switch at the top of the ticket, and it's focused on Kamala Harris itself. Some of it is just a function of, look, as we get increasingly closer from 70 days to 60 days to 50 days to 40 days and closer, people are getting more information. And to Maria Teresa's point, they're learning more about their policies, more about the housing policies, more about the tax credit policies, right? And so as these conversations continue, I expect to see those poll numbers for Vice President Harris continue to go in the direction that we've been seeing it go for the past 6 weeks.
Now, one of the things that Black Voters Matters is doing, you guys now have a $15 million program in the battleground states. It's going to span nearly a dozen of these states. A voter canvassing operation aimed at increasing Black turnout in swing states and the Deep South. And interestingly, a mobilization effort including a focus on Black men. Now, one of the things that's been driving me crazy is this notion that Black men en masse were going to be going and voting for Donald Trump. What are you seeing on the ground, and how serious is the potential of erosion? Is there erosion of Black male support for the Democratic ticket?
Hey everyone, so the team decided to do a fun competition. If you're able to make a donation today, even if it's just a few dollars, and if you're selected, then
Hold on, I'm going to skip that, okay? Sorry about that. I apologize.
Right. No, we're not going to see any major shift. I don't even think a minor shift. In fact, I'm still believing that it's actually to go in the other direction, that Trump will actually get less support from Black voters overall, and particularly from Black men. So no, some of the things that we've been hearing, and again, we've been hearing it for a year now, that the sky is falling, and that simply isn't matching what we hear out in the community. There's always a concern about whether or not some demographics of Black voters might decide to stay at home. But again, I think that the more that people hear about these policies, one of the things that we keep hearing from some Black men is, well, I don't know what she's done or what the Biden-Harris, what they've done and what they're going to do for Black men. And again, as we have conversations around things that they've done or things that she's proposed, like the economic policies, or around the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act that she co-sponsored, right? Or any of the other things, insulin costs, which impacts Black men disproportionately. As these discussions continue, and as they start to even add on, I wouldn't be surprised if they add on another policy or two that is uniquely targeted to Black men. Then again, I expect that these polls, these numbers are going to keep going in the direction that they're going. And the last thing I'll say very quickly is that in some of these polls, some of the polls haven't been done fully after the debate. I believe that debate performance where she not just beat him substantively, but when you think about the machismo that sometimes speaks to some segments of Black men, the way that she dismantled him and made him look small, made him no longer look like Marlon Brando in The Godfather, but instead made him look like Fredo. That has an impact on Black men that are now looking at him like, nah, you lost some cool points, and I'm not going with you.
That's a great analogy there. So, Maria Teresa, it's one thing to go out there and knock on doors and say, hey, who are you going to vote for? Mm-hmm. It's another thing to get those folks then, if they're not registered, to register to vote. And I'm going to point out for folks, you know this data point very well. You facilitated 36,000 registrations in the 6 months leading up to July 21st. That's the date that President Biden stepped out of the race. In the weeks since, Voto Latino has registered 120,000 additional voters. Those are people who now are.
Hey, Miss Bud.
Talk about
hey,
that and
Queen.
how significant that spike in registration.
So think about the way we do our work as the stock market, right? And so all of a sudden, the moment she came on top of the ticket, the stock market went hot. They all wanted in. And the folks that were registering, disproportionately, 70% of them are under the age of 25 and 60% of them are women. In my 20 years, I've never seen such enthusiasm among young people who are listening to what she has to say and getting in the ring. And the reason that is significant, in a place like Arizona, where Biden won by 10,400 votes, there are 163,000 Latino youth that have turned 18 since the last election, more than 10 times. We personally have registered over 13,000 people, so already over the margin of Biden's victory. And what we're trying to tell people is that it's one thing to listen to the polls, but watch voters' behavior. The fact that there's record volunteers, the fact that people are spending their hard-earned cash donating to her campaign, the fact that young people are saying, you know what, I wasn't interested in, but now I want in and I want to volunteer. This is a whole new ballgame, and it's exciting because people want to be part of this democracy.
Okay, we have heard from both candidates what they have done. I'm gonna go back to my notes. Thank you all for coming to my live. Please hit the like button. Your opinions are valued. So if you want to voice your opinions in the chat, you're welcome to do it. And remember, kindness goes a long way. Hold on, okay? So between those two particular videos, what are your thoughts and views on those particular videos? Because they kind of took Reagan and Trump and compared them together. But I would say Reagan is a little bit more reserved. And he was in government before. Donald Trump has never been in government. So that's the difference between them. Kamala Harris has been in government, working for the people all of her adult life. So it is a vast difference between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Donald Trump happens to be a man with money. So when he ran and he was talking about things that his people wanted to hear, it made it easy for him to get in there. And their views fit his views. So he hasn't been in government very long. And he lost in 2020 to President Joe Biden. So now we have Donald Trump, who's running again against Kamala Harris. And they have two different views of what they see for this country. And we're going to get to some of that in just a moment. His eyes are set on the prize of Agenda 47, which is basically Project 2025. And I'm going to show you some of that in a moment. And you're going to see Donald Trump talking about it. Okay? Okay. So the next video we're going to watch, it'll be each candidate, how they answer questions, who's being honest with the American people. One moment, okay? Just a moment.
Most Americans don't know this, but there is a little-known strategy helping hundreds of people protect their savings from all of the craziness.
Okay.
And he talks about Kim Jong-un.
Most most Americans don't know
I didn't
this,
go
but
back to
there
the
is a
commercial.
little
Hold
known
on, y'all.
strategy
It went back to the
helping
commercial for
hundreds of
some
people
reason. I don't know
protect their
why.
savings from all of the
Hold on, I'm
craziness that's
sorry.
going on in the world right now.
Here we go.
Nuclear war.
Nuclear war.
Okay.
He's talking about water conservation in California. He talks about a big faucet that takes an entire day to turn, and we all know about child. So seriously, do you have no shame? Do you really have no shame? Are you so desperate to not vote for Kamala Harris that you will actually twist and contort yourself so badly that you undermine decades of good work? Because that's what's happening right now. And we can see through you. This is like romper room. I don't have the mirror to hold up, but we see you. And we see what you're doing. And if you think that's
Please
bad,
like the
stick
video.
around for the 7
Thank
o'clock
you.
hour when Mika takes us through the lies and the false equivalencies about political violence in America. There's even a Wall Street Journal writer who's accusing Democrats of killing Donald Trump. Oh, they put a question mark after it. But blaming Democrats for violent rhetoric. And never once mentioning Dan Henninger
Hit the like
in your
button.
column
Thank
that
you.
Donald Trump inspired January 6th, that Donald Trump stared repeatedly, we learned, at the most violent moments on January 6th, instead of calling it off, that those riots where cops were brutalized because of Donald Trump, brutalized, and 4 later died, their families say is a direct result of January 6th. Donald Trump called those people that the cops' families say are responsible for their deaths, and those people that beat and brutalized cops with American flags, call them patriots. He said they're hostages. As a January 6th choir, he told his legal counsel in the White House that maybe Mike Pence deserved lynching on the day of January the 6th. He said that Mark Milley should be executed for treason. He has used violent rhetoric repeatedly. You try to whitewash it and say it's the Democrats that are responsible for violent rhetoric because they say that Donald Trump may be a threat to American democracy. What do you call January the 6th? Is that a threat to American democracy? Is the intentional calling of a mob to go to Capitol Hill and say, I'll be with you. I'll be right back. I'll be with you. Saying you have to be strong to stop Congress from the constitutional counting of the Electoral College of those votes? Do you not call that a threat to democracy? Do you not call it a threat to democracy when Donald Trump says that he wants to execute the chairman of the Joint Chiefs for treason? Is that not a threat? Saying that the vice president deserves lynching, saying that to your legal counsel on January 6th, is that not a threat to democracy? Undermining Americans' confidence in voting? When you know, because the Wall Street Journal editorial page has been very clear, and I will say, have done the right thing repeatedly, calling out Donald Trump's lies when it comes to widespread election fraud. Is that not a threat to democracy? What exactly is a threat? What rises to the threat of democracy that we have ever seen in America since the Civil War? If what Donald Trump has done over the past 4 years does not. Please, give us the permission structure. I know you're desperate for a permission structure not to vote for Kamala Harris and to get people to vote for Donald Trump. But anti-Trumpism, it is something. If they gave out gold medals for it, you'd get it. You would. But please, tell me. This is a question Bill Maher was asking this weekend correctly. If this is not a threat to American democracy, what we've seen over the past 4 years, and if that is somehow hate speech that is riling up violent rhetoric, please tell me. Define for me, what is a threat to American democracy? It's certainly not people going around speaking out against January the 6th. It's certainly not people going out, speaking out about a presidential candidate and a former president saying he wants the chairman of the Joint Chiefs executed because he was insufficiently disloyal.
Whew. That was a lot, you all. How do y'all feel about what was said? Well, I said they voiced their opinion, didn't they?
Is it maybe Trump's chief of staff who came out and said Donald says he wishes his generals could be like Hitler's generals because they were sufficiently loyal. Of course, Donald Trump, not even knowing that the Desert Fox and several others tried to blow him up and kill him. I mean, it really is. This is insanity. You know, you often hear about silly season. We have officially entered silly season when people that I have read and people I have respected and others have read and respected all across the ideological spectrum are shaming themselves right now, are shaming themselves, trying to flatten this race out and trying to make Donald Trump seem normal next to Kamala Harris. And the question I cannot answer, and I guess they will have to answer, and readers will have to answer themselves. What is it? What is it that they fear about Kamala Harris so much that they're willing to say, you know what? We've already had 4 years of Donald Trump, and it turned out okay. Oh, did it really? Talk to the family of the cops who are dead today. Talk to the cops and the families who are dead because of January the 6th. Talk to all the federal judges that had to stand in the gap when Donald Trump was trying, listen to me, trying to undermine democracy and throw out a presidential election. Now, did anything I say there, not true? Would you call that hate speech? Anything? Anything? No, I didn't think so. Could go on all day and you know it. Stop embarrassing yourselves.
Okay, they voiced their opinions. But I know how y'all feel about y'all candidate. And I will be honest, I don't like to lie to you because that should not happen. It was a crime what they did. That's why a lot of them did go to jail and some of them are in prison. And it's a fact. Some of them are in prison and some of them went to jail. Okay. So, it is being said that Florida could now be blue. And here's why. Because, you know, Florida is normally a Republican state, but Kamala Harris is making such an improvement and a vast growth with her candidacy in Florida that she's really stepping up in the polls. So I'm going to show you why. One moment, okay? It's a commercial. I got to let the commercial go off. Skip the commercial. Okay.
Hello, Treasure Coast. Those are the Martin County Democrats fired up in Florida. But it's not just them. Democrats and Republicans and independents uniting, fired up to make sure that Donald Trump does not get elected. And from what I'm hearing, not just the poll numbers, but from all of my sources on the ground in Florida, they say that Florida can be flipped, that it's the real deal. Yeah, the polls are showing that Vice President Kamala Harris is within 4 points of Donald Trump. But as you dig deeper and you don't just see the energy in places like the Villages, you take a look, which is normally very conservative, but they know that Donald Trump's going to take away their Medicare and take away their Social Security and also screw the world for their grandchildren and future generations. So people are fired up and joining forces together. But then the Haitian community in Florida, comprised of over 500,000 Haitians who vote. And remember that sign that they had in Uniondale, Long Island, when Donald Trump spoke there recently? They said, you know what? We don't eat pets, but you know what we do? We vote. 500,000 Haitians in Florida. Here from the Miami Herald, they wrote the following: big mistake. South Florida Haitians slam Donald Trump's false claim about immigrants eating pets. As we said on the Midas Touch social media accounts, it will be the sweetest karma in history if Trump loses Florida because of lying during a debate and continuing to perpetrate that lie thereafter, that Haitian and Haitian migrants are eating people's pets, and that he wants to take the Haitians and send them back to Venezuela and deport people who are here lawfully. That's what Donald Trump said. Think about this. In 2020, Donald Trump only beat President Biden in Florida by 371,686 votes. 372,000 votes. There's over 500,000.
Please hit the like button. Thank you.
Area who get this. They vote. Also, as Ben Friedman says, Donald Trump's margin in 2020, 371,000. Already, the Florida Dems in August alone have knocked on over 400,000 doors. The ground game is real. Here is Nikki Fried, who chairs the Florida Democrats, along with the Democratic National Committee Chairman Jamie Harrison. They say Florida's in play. Play this clip.
Hello, I'm Nikki Fried, chair of the Florida Democratic Party, and I am here tonight in the 305 because we know that the road to the White House goes through Miami-Dade County. And to make sure that the entire country knows that Florida is in play, we've got the boss here, DNC Chairman Jamie Harrison.
Folks, Florida. Don't sleep on Florida. We know for a fact that when we fight, we win. And we had a room full of people, a room full of fighters, and we are happy about it. Not only are they from Miami-Dade County, but they're also from Orlando, Florida.
And the only way we're going to win this state and take it back is ensuring that Democrats and all people go out and vote for freedom, vote for justice, and that's what we're going to do this November.
But October 7th, voter registration deadline, so make sure you've got a plan to register to vote, and then vote on November 5th.
We fight,
we win!
Here's one more clip of Nikki Fried saying, Democrats are going to win Florida. Here, play this clip.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nikki Fried, chair of the Florida Democratic Party here in Orange County, with another incredible chair in the state of North Carolina. Anderson Clayton is here in the state of Florida to make sure that we together are taking back this country and getting out to vote. So please, Florida, make sure that you do. We both in North Carolina and Florida sit in super minorities right now for the Democrats in our state legislature. And we've seen abortion rights be stripped from folks across our states this last year with Republicans that have taken over our states. So please make sure that you get out and vote, take shifts with the Florida Democratic Party, and let's do everything we can to defeat Donald Trump this November. That's right, because when North Carolina and Florida go Kamala Harris, game over. So we'll see you in November.
And Democrats are being led in Florida by some great candidates up and down the ballot. Like in Florida's 13th congressional district right now, it's occupied by Anna Paulina Luna, MAGA extremist. She wears the AR-15 pin. She was like the swimsuit model before the MAGA swimsuit model who would perform with those performative AR-15 images in the bikinis. That's her claim to fame in MAGA world. Also, she has a very George Santo-ish type of like story in the sense of like she has multiple names and who's her family and where's she really from, and like just a very shady background. But here's Whitney Fox, who's the Democratic candidate, who lots of people believe is going to beat Anna Paulina Luna. Just take a look at what Whitney Fox has to say here. Play the clip.
I decided to run for Congress because the fire lit inside of me when I had a baby. the medical bills, the lack of paid parental leave, the lack of affordable childcare. Surely we're not all okay with this being the way we start American families. That coupled with the fact that now my 2 daughters are growing up with fewer rights than I did. So I decided I had to stand up and do something about it. And that's why I'm fighting for my community here in District 13.
You know what nobody talks about when it comes to building a content
One
creator
moment,
business?
y'all.
That if
Sorry
you're
about
working
this
with a new
commercial.
to stay organized and professional in your communication, you're probably leaving thousands of dollars on the table. Hi, my name is Kaya, and I find there's a lot to keep track of as a content creator. Our job is not...
Sorry about that. It's a commercial. One moment, okay? I'm going to shout some of you out while this commercial is on. Then, uh-oh. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all.
Because of lying during a debate and continuing to perpetrate that lie thereafter, that Haitian and Haitian migrants are eating people's pets, and that he wants to take the Haitians and send them back to Venezuela and deport people who are here lawfully. That's what Donald Trump said. Think about this. In 2020, Donald Trump only beat President Biden in Florida by 371,686 votes. 372,000 votes. There's over 500,000 Haitians who live in the South Florida area who get this. They vote. Also, as Ben Friedman says, Donald Trump's margin in 2020, 371,000. Already the Florida Dems in August alone have knocked on over 400,000 doors. The ground game is real. Here is Nikki Fried, who chairs the Florida Democrats, along with the Democratic National Committee.
Hold on one moment, y'all.
They say Florida's in.
I don't know how that happened. Okay.
From Springfield, Ohio. Large deportations. We're going to get these people out. We're bringing them back to Venezuela.
I think AOC puts it best where she
I want to say something, y'all. How are you going to send Haitians to visit Venezuela when they're not from there? They're from Haiti. So it doesn't make sense to send Haitians there. They're from Haiti. They are here legally.
Xenophobic racist policies. AOC nails it here. Play this clip.
Days like today are really deeply felt. I'm going to speak briefly as the highest ranking Latino or Latina on this committee. We hear a lot of rhetoric on both sides about the issue of immigration. And it is precisely because it is seen as a border issue that millions of people suffer over and over and over again. It does matter that Vice President Harris was not the quote unquote border czar. And let me explain to you why. Because what Vice President Harris has been tasked with under President Biden's administration is addressing the root causes of immigration. Once you have millions of people at the southern border of the United States, you've lost. We need to understand why people are coming to the southern border of the United States and mitigating that in the first place. And frankly, when we turn the page and look at what happened in the Trump administration, we have to see where folks are coming from. And I am tired of hearing from people who cannot point out Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Guatemala on a map, telling us about how to mitigate the millions of people seeking refuge. We should be eliminating the reasons why people are seeking refuge in the first place. Under the Trump administration, Donald Trump participated in what we saw in Venezuela and many of the regime change activities that were happening there. And what we saw most desperately are the horrific sanctions that were placed not targeting specifically the Maduro regime, but the Venezuelan people, innocent Venezuelan people that are being starved of food and basic resources. That is what is contributing to a destabilizing environment and part of what they are fleeing. And that is not to conflate the Venezuelan people with the Maduro regime. And
then right here, Vice President Kamala Harris's VP pick, Governor Walz, is like, and then you have J.D. Vance, who admits to making up stories and lying about migrants, lying about the Haitian community in order to accomplish what? To do what? Just to be racist and to gin up support amongst what your just MAGA white base? Here, this is what Governor Walz had to say. Play this clip.
This last weekend, Donald Trump's running mate, Senator Vance, did a really remarkable thing. He got called out by a fair and free press that are a part of our democracy and fundamental to the freedoms of this country. He got called out by that press about telling vicious, hurtful lies about immigrants. But he did something. He did something. He told the truth. They asked him if maybe it was an accident or he didn't mean it. No, he said, I admit it. I'm willing to create stories to spread fear to drum up support for us.
Hit the like button. Thank you.
Now the only thing among
get me to at least 50, y'all. Hit the like button, please.
Yeah, but at least they admit
get me in the algorithm, please. Thank you all.
What things are they making up stories about?
Thank you.
I think you know. The reason you do that is because if you told what you really stood for, no one would vote for you. And that includes the folks who think that, because you know you have your neighbors who are out there. Hell, we have them in our families, don't we know? So, but that's what happens. And I don't really like Donald Trump, but I like what he stands for. Oh, really? Suppressing women's reproductive rights? Is that the one you want? Or is it cutting taxes for billionaires while you get screwed in the middle class? Is that the one you like? Or is it ignoring real problems, like our children being shot dead in schools? Is it those things or whatever? So I think for all of us, the truth here, you know who Donald Trump is. You know the pain that he caused.
Donald Trump's not stopping. He's posting more cat memes. Kamala hates me. Don't let them eat us types of memes. I mean, how despicable can you get right here? He's spoken in Wilmington, North Carolina in the past few days. And here he said that the migrants are attacking villages. Where, Donald? What villages are you? The villages? What are you even saying? Here, play the clip.
And what a shame that is, right? What a shame that is. And you see how bad it's getting when you look at what's going on with the migrants attacking villages and cities all throughout the Midwest in particular right now, but it's all over.
Well, I know the villages. Here are the villages right here. This is happening on a fairly frequent basis right now, where there are golf cart parades spontaneously erupting to support Vice President Kamala Harris. Here's one of the more recent ones. Play this clip.
Yeah, I'll take some.
So again, do the math. The exact number of Haitians living in Florida, 544,000, give or take. President Biden lost by 371,000 votes. You add that, and then this coalition of Republicans, plus Democrats, plus independents, layer on it that you have a critical vote on DeSantis's 6-week abortion ban. And remember, Donald Trump flip-flopped. Donald Trump first said that he was going to vote against the 6-week abortion ban, and now he says he wants to keep the 6-week abortion ban in place. You remember when Donald Trump said this? Play it.
You voting yes or no on Amendment 4 in Florida?
So I think 6 weeks you need more time in 6 weeks. I've disagreed with that right from the early primaries. When I heard about it, I disagreed with it. At the same time, the Democrats are radical because the 9 months is just a ridiculous situation that where you can do an abortion in the 9th month. And, you know, some of the states like Minnesota and other states have it where you could actually execute the baby after birth. And all of that stuff is unacceptable. So I'll be voting no for that reason.
And in addition to a referendum on women's reproductive rights on the ballot, you also have in Florida a marijuana referendum on the ballot as well. So that's going to drive a ton of turnout here. I wouldn't be surprised if we've got many new voters in Florida, people who haven't voted previously. So keep your eyes on Florida. Keep your eyes on Florida. I'm Ben Mycelis from the Midas Touch Network. Hit subscribe if you can. Let's get to 4 million subscribers together. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up
Y'all,
to date.
please follow his channel. I really like Ben's videos. I like him, and I would like for you all, if you can, to subscribe to his channel and catch up on some of his videos. They're very, inquiring. He made great videos. His lives are good as well. And Ben and his family, they are attorneys, and I've been watching him for quite some time, and I can vouch for him. Yes, I can. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my notes. Kamala's name has been taken off the ballots that are in Montana, and I'm going to show you. And I think that is so wrong. Kamala doesn't have to be your candidate, but she doesn't have to be treated like she's second best in anything, because she's the VP of this country. Donald Trump is not even president. Hold on, okay? Give me a moment. Just a moment. Okay. You see this? I'm going to read it to you. It tells you about it. Then I'm going to show you a video as well. This Montana GOP Secretary of State Christy Jacobson, her office left Kamala Harris' name off ballots sent to 1,000 Montanans living aboard. She did that, this lady. Hold on. I'm going to show you this video.
Why are you not allowing us to put them in the ballot box? It takes us about 25 minutes to...
Listen to me. If you're dropping your ballot off at a ballot box drop-off location and there's somebody standing near one with a bag saying, yeah, well, we're going to be collecting those, but just save us some time. Fuck that shit. Don't ever give your ballot to somebody else. You take it to the ballot box and drop it off. If you feel like something hinky's going on, contact your local officials and let them know. But do not give your ballot to somebody else. Bullshit.
I agree. It doesn't matter who your candidate is. We all need to be treated fair.
It takes us about 25 minutes to...
Listen to me.
Did you hear what she told her, the excuse why she wanted her to put her ballot in that bag instead of in the box? Don't let anybody come up to your vehicle or up to you and tell you what to do with your ballot. That's yours. Put it in the box. I prefer that you actually go into a place and vote. If it's early voting, which I will be doing early voting, or you just wait until November the 5th and you're going to go vote then. Your vote counts. It doesn't matter if you vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. Your vote counts. Make sure your vote counts.
Country is going to hell. The critical job of institutions such as Heritage is to lay the groundwork, and Heritage does such an incredible job at that. This is a great group, and they're going to lay the groundwork.
Oh, what happened?
Country is going to hell. The critical job of institutions such as Heritage is to lay the groundwork, and Heritage does such an incredible job at that. This is a great group, and they're going to lay the ground.
So he's talking about laying the groundwork for Project 2025. And the Heritage Group is over there. Hold on. One moment. I'll go back to my notes. Sorry. Go to my notes. It keeps me on track. Thank you for the blue hearts. Thank y'all for coming to my live. Please hit the like button. I'm going to show you a video about Project 2025. Donald Trump just mentioned something about it in the Heritage Group, which they are the ones that actually put J.D. Vance in place. And I feel, in my opinion, they put J.D. Vance in place because they actually want to get rid of who? Donald Trump. So I'm going to read you some of it, what it says. Hold on. It said, what is Project 2025? What to know about the conservative blueprint for a second Trump administration. This is what the article is about, CBS News. Washington, voters have been hearing the term Project 2025 invoked more and more by President Biden and Vice President Harris and other Democrats in the run-up to the November election, as they seek to sound the alarm about what could be in store if former President Donald Trump wins a second term in the White House. Overseen by the Conservative Heritage Foundation, the multi-pronged initiative includes a detailed blueprint for the next Republican president to usher a sweeping overhaul of executive branch. Trump and his campaign have worked to distance themselves from Project 2025, with the former president going as far as to call some of the proposals oblivious. But Democrats have continued to tie the transition project to Trump, warning that its policy proposals are what Americans can expect if they elect former President Trump in November. What is Project 2025? Here is what you need to know about Project 2025. Project 2025 is proposed presidential transition project that is composed of 4 pillars: a policy guide for the next presidential administration, a LinkedIn style database of personnel who could serve in the next administration, training of that pool of candidates dubbed the Presidential Administration Academy, and a playbook of actions to be taken within the first 180 days in office. It is led by 2 former Trump administration officials, Paul Dans, who was chief of staff at the Office of Personnel Management and serves as director of the project, and Spencer Kristen, former special assistant to Trump, and now the project's associate director. Dans announced on July 30th that he would be stepping down from his role of head of Project 2025 and departing Heritage in August. Project 2025 is spearheaded by the Heritage Foundation, but includes as a advisory board consisting of more than 100 conservative groups. Much of the focus on and criticism of Project 2025 involves the first pillars, the nearly 900-page policy book that lays out an overhaul of federal government called Mandate for Leadership 2025. The Conservative Promise, the book builds on a mandate for leadership first published in 1981, which sought to serve as a roadmap for Ronald Reagan's incoming administration. The recommendations outlined in the spiraling plan every corner of the executive branch, from the executive office of the president to the Department of Homeland Security to the little-known Export-Import Bank. The Heritage Foundation also created a mandate for leadership in 2015, ahead of Trump's first term. 2 years into his presidency, it touted that Trump had instituted 64% of his policies recommendations, ranging from leaving the Paris Climate Accords increasing military spending, and increasing offshore drilling and developing federal lands. In July 2020, the Heritage Foundation gave its update version of the book to then White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. The authors of the chapters are familiar names from Trump administration, such as Russ Vought, who led to the Office of Management and Budget, former acting Defense Secretary Chris Miller, and Roger Severino, who was the director of the Office of Civil Rights at the Department of Health and Human Services. Vought is the policy director for 2024 Republican National Committee's platform committee, which adopted the platforms at July convention. John McEntee, former director of the White House Presidential Personnel Office under Trump, is a senior advisor to the Heritage Foundation, and said that the group will integrate a lot of our work with the Trump campaign when official transition efforts are announced in the next few months. Candidates interested in applying for the Heritage Foundation Presidential Personnel Database are vetted on a number of policy stances, such as whether they agree or disagree with statements like life has a right to legal protection from conception to natural death, and the president should be able to advise his or her agenda through bureaucracy without hindrance from unelected federal officials. The contributions from ex-Trump administration officials have led to crisis to tie Project 2025 to his election campaign, though the former president has attempted to distance himself from the Project 2025. A line-by-line review by CBS identified at least 270 proposals in Project 2025's published blueprint for the next Republican president that match Trump's past policies and current campaign promises. NBC News data team extracted more than 700 specific policy proposals from Project 2025's policy guide and compared each to policies enacted during Trump's first term, as well as campaign platform, rally speeches, and interviews. What are Project 2025's plans? Some of the policies in Project 2025 agenda have been discussed by Republicans for years, a push by Trump himself. Less federal intervention in the education, more support for school choice, work requirements for able-bodied, childless adults on food stamps, a severe border with increased enforcement of immigration laws, mass deportation, and construction of a border wall. But others have come under scrutiny in part because the current policy landscape, abortion and social issues, and recommendations for the Department of Health and Human Services. The agenda calls for Food and Drug Administrative to reverse its 24-year-old approval of the widely used abortion pill. Others propose actions targeting medication abortion include reinstating more stringent rules for the abortion pill, which would permit to be taken up to 7 weeks into pregnancy instead of the current 10 weeks, and requiring to be dispensed in person instead of through the mail. The Alliance Defending Freedom, a conservative legal group that is Project 2025's advisory board, was involved in legal challenges to implement the Project 2025 and the 2000 approval, and more recent actions from the FDA that made it easier to obtain. But the Supreme Court rejected the case brought by a group of anti-abortion rights doctors and medical associations on procedural grounds. The policy book also recommends that Justice Department enforce the Comstock Act against providers and distributors of abortion pills. That 1873 law prohibits drugs, medications, or instrument used in abortions from being sent through the mail. Now the Supreme Court has overturned Roe v. Wade. The volume states that the Justice Department and the next conservative administration should therefore announce its intent to enforce federal law against providers, distributors of such pills. The guide recommends that next Secretary of Health and Human Services get rid of the Reproductive Health Care Access Task Force established by the Biden administration before Roe v. Wade's reversal, created a pro-life task force to ensure that all of the department's divisiveness seek to use their authority to promote the life and health of women and their unborn child. In a section titled The Family Agenda, the proposal recommends the Health and Human Services chief proudly state that men and women are biological realities, and that married men and women are the ideal natural family structure because all children have the right to be raised by men and women who conceive them. Further, a program within Health and Human Services Department should maintain a biological based social science reinforced definition of marriage and family. During this first 4 years in office, Trump banned transgender people from serving in the military. Mr. Biden reversed that policy, but Project 2025 policy book calls for the ban to be reinstated. Targeting federal agencies, employees, and policies. The agenda took aim at longstanding federal agencies like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA. The agency is a component of the Commerce Department, and the policy guides calls for it to be downsized. NOAA's 6 offices, including the National Weather Service and National Marine Fisheries Service, form a colossal operation that has become one of the main drivers of the climate change alert industry, and as such is harmful to future U.S. prosperity, the guide states. The Department of Homeland Security, established in 2002, should be dismantled and its agencies either combined with others or moved under the purview of other departments, although the policy book states, for example, immigration-related entities from the Department of Homeland Security, Justice and Health and Human Services should form a standalone cabinet-level border and immigration agency staffed by more than 100,000 employees, according to the agenda. If the policy's recommendations are implemented in another federal agency that could come under the knife by the next administration, with actions from Congress, is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The agenda seeks to bring a push by conservatives to target diversity, equality, and inclusion, or the DEI initiatives in higher education to the executive branch by wiping away slew of DEI related positions, policies, and programs calling for the elimination of funding for parents that promote DEI practices. In the states that U.S. agencies for international development staff and grantees that engage in the ideological agitation on behalf of the DEI agenda should be terminated. At the Treasury Department, the guide says the next administrators should treat the participation in any critical race theory or DEI initiative without objecting on constitutional or moral grounds, as per se grounds for termination of employment. Okay. The Project 2025 policy book also takes, one moment, you guys. also takes aim at innocuous functions of government. It calls for the next presidential administration to eliminate or reform the dietary guidelines that have been published by the Department of Agriculture for more than 40 years, which the authors claim have been infiltrated by issues like climate change and sustainability. Immigration. Trump made immigration a cornerstone of his last two presidential runs, has continued to hammer the issue during his 2024 campaign. Project 2025's agenda not only recommends finishing the wall along the U.S.-Mexican border, but urges the next administration to take a creative and aggressive approach to responding to drug cartels at the border. This approach includes using active duty military personnel and the National Guard to help with the arrest operations along the southern border. A member for Immigration and Customs Enforcement that prohibits enforcement actions from taking place at sensitive places like schools, playgrounds, churches should be rolled back, the policy guide states. When the Homeland Security Secretary determines there is an actual or anticipated mass migration of aliens that presents urgent circumstances, warning a federal response to the agenda, says the secretary can make rules and regulations, including through their impulsiveness, for as long as necessary. These rules, the guide states, aren't subject to Administration Procedure Act, which governs the agency rulemaking process. What do Trump and his advisors say about Project 2025? In a post to his social media platform on July the 5th, Trump wrote, "I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who is behind it. I disagree with some of the things that they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them." I have already showed y'all the video of him talking about it. Trump's pushback to the initiative came after Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts said in a podcast interview that the nation is in the process of second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be. Did y'all not hear that? Kevin Roberts said in a podcast interview that the nation is in the process of a second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be. Fix it, Jesus. The former president continued this vow, the initiative in social media posts, insisting that he knows nothing about Project 2025. And he repeated that message in his debate against Vice President Kamala Harris on September the 10th. "I have nothing to do with Project 2025, he said. "I haven't read it." Oh, I can believe that. I don't want to read it purposely. "I'm not going to read it." That's what Donald Trump said. In response to Dan's exit from Project 2025, Trump's campaign did not speak for the campaign and should not be associated with the campaign of the president in any way. Reports of Project 2025's demise would be greatly welcomed and should serve as a notice to anyone or any group trying to misrepresent their influence with the ex-president Trump and his campaign. "It would not end well for you," said Susie Wiles and Chris Lasevich, senior advisors on the Trump campaign. While the former president said he doesn't know who is in charge of the Project 2025, the project's outgoing director, Dan's, and associate director, were high-ranking officials in his administration. Additionally, Ben Carson, former Secretary of Housing, Urban Development under Trump, John Radcliffe, former Director of National Intelligence in the Trump administration, and Peter Navarro, who served as the top trade administrator to Trump in the White House, are listed as either authors or contributors to the policy agenda. Still, even before Roberts' comments during the War Room podcast, typically hosted by conservative commentator Steve Bannon, we all know who that is, who reported to federal prison to begin serving a 4-month sentence last week. Trump's top campaign advisors stressed that Project 2025 has no official ties to his re-election bid. Wiles said in November statement that 2024 policy announcements would be made by Trump or his campaign team. Any personnel lists, policies, agendas, or government plans published anywhere are merely suggestions, they said. While the efforts by outside organizations are appreciated, whilst none of these groups or individuals speak for President Trump or his campaign. In response to Trump post in July, Project 2025 iterated that it was separated from Trump campaign. As we've been saying for more than 2 years now, Project 2025 does not speak for any candidate or campaign. We are a coalition of more than 110 conservatives groups advocating policies and personnel recommendations for the next conservative president. But it is ultimately up to that president, who we believe will be President Donald Trump, to decide which recommendations to implement. A statement on Project X account said on July the 5th, the initiative has also pushed back on Democrats' claims about the policy proposals and accused them of lying about what the agenda contains. What do Democrats say? Despite Trump's attempts to keep some distance from Project 2025, his campaign criticism of the initiative, Democrats continue to connect Trump with the transition effort. Before dropping out of the race, Mr. Biden, President Biden, it's not Mr. Biden. Trump is not president. It's not Mr. Biden. It's President Biden himself accused Republican opponent of lying about his connection to the Project 2025 agenda, saying in a statement the agenda was written for Trump and should scare everyone, every single American. We claim on his campaign social media page account. He claimed on his social media page account on July 10th that Project 2025 will destroy America. In a speech to American Federation of Teachers on July 25th, Harris also knocked Project 2025. Can you believe they put that thing in writing? It's on Amazon. You can buy it. I'll show y'all what it looked like, okay? 900 pages in writing, she said. Project 2025 is a plan to return America to a dark past. Harris returned to the message in her speech at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago on August the 22nd, as she formally accepted her party's nomination. We know what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors. And its sums totally is to pull our country back into the past. She said, on the opening night of the DNC, Michigan State Senator Mallory McMorrow appeared on stage with an oversized copy of the Mandate for Leadership 2025, the conservative promise, the book that details Project 2025 proposal. There's only one way to stop him and to stop Project 2025, she said after dropping the book on the lecture with a thud. How do we do it? We elect Kamala Harris this November. This is the book. which I'm going to show y'all other photos. Okay, this is the book. You can buy it on Amazon. Vice President nominee Tim Walz also called out Project 2025 in DNC speech, saying Project 2025 would make things much, much harder for people who are just trying to live their lives. Congressional Democrats pivoted to Project 2025 when asked in interviews about Mr. Biden, President Biden's fitness for a second term following his lackluster showing at the June 27 debate against Trump. President Biden announced his withdrawal from the race for the White House weeks after the debate, as a swell of Democrats calling for him to step aside. Trump is all about Project 2025, Pennsylvania Senior John Fetterman told CNN in July. I mean, that's what we really should be voting on right now. It's like, do we want the kind of president that is all about Project 2025? What are Republicans saying about Project 2025? That's what it's asking, so I'm going to read it. What are the Republicans saying? GOP senators, including Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, have sought to put space between the White House hopeful and Project 2025, casting it merely the product of think tank that puts forth ideas. He actually, J.D. Vance, wrote the forwarding for Project 2025. He wrote it. Before he was selected as Trump vice president pick, Vance told NBC's Meet the Press that organizations would have good ideas and bad ideas, not all of which Trump agrees with. It's a 900-page document. This is Vance speaking. It's a 900-page document, he said in July. I guarantee there are things that Trump likes and dislikes about the 900-page document. But he is the person who will determine the agenda of the next administration if he is elected November 5th. Florida Senator Sean Marco Rubio expresses similar sentiments on CNN's State of the Union. It's the work of think tank, a center-right think tank. Excuse me, y'all. And that's what think tanks do, Rubio said. He said Trump's message to voters focused on restoring common sense, working class values, making our decision on a basis of that. Okay, so that is the end of that. This is the book for Project 2025. This is the book. You can purchase on Amazon. To learn more about it, you can. But this was an article by CBS News, and it just lays out what the Republicans feel about it, what the people that created feel about it, and what the Democrats feel about Project 2025. And it's more in the book. There's no way I can tell you about all 900 pages, but you can buy it yourself to know what's in it. And there's 900 pages to read. So that is about Project 2025. What is actually Trump's administration will be their guideline, their agenda to go by if he is in the White House November 5th. That's what it's about. So, okay, so we have talked about all of that. Project 2025, ballots are being taken and destroyed. We talked about the 544,000 Haitians in Florida, which they normally vote Republican, but because of Trump is bashing the Haitians, they will not be voting for him. They making it nationwide known they will not be voting for Donald Trump. And we discussed Florida could be blue, and I discussed why by showing you the video. And I showed y'all each candidate, and it's up to you all to discuss who's the sharpest, brighter candidate for you. And we have 42 days until November the 5th to vote. I'm going to be early voting, and I advise you to early vote as well. And we will have to decide which candidate is better fitted to be president. This is my opinion. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are a better fit. but your opinion may be different, and that is okay. That is okay. So to get to a lighter note, we're going to watch a video, something a little bit more lighter and may have some humor to it. So we're going to watch it, okay? One moment. And then I'm going to read some of the comments, okay? Let's see what this is about. Give me one moment, okay? Just a moment.
You know, he was already trailing, a little bit here and there. Well, now then, that he can't unhitch his wagon from that Mark Robinson dude there, the self-proclaimed black white supremacist schnazi. That confuses me. But anyway, he can't distance himself from him. Oh, by the way, if you hadn't already followed me on the tube of you over there, please click the link tree in my bio. If you're ever on my TikToks, and give me a subscribe over there, like Boot Official, and click the notification bell. But anyway, he can't unendorse him because he's already deep-throatedly endorsed him many times. And if he tried to do that, well, for one, it's going to alienate a huge portion of Trump's base. What you going to unendorse him for? Because the guy come out and said that he was a white supremacist Nazi and that he wanted to own slaves. I mean, then you're going to alienate a huge portion of your base, Trump. You can't do that because, the Triple K, the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys, 3%ers, Moms of Liberty, minivan Taliban. They'd feel alienated if he did that, So you can't speak out against that stuff because then you're going to lose a bunch of support, bigly. And if he spoke out against that Mark Robinson dude because, well, he's a closeted homosexual, well, then he's going to alienate another huge part of his base, which is MAGA men, because they're in the same boat there, claiming to be alpha males, but really they're in the closet and stuff like that. So he can't do it either way. So he's stuck with that guy. Well, that guy's a big drain on the ticket there, and he was already losing by double digits. It's just going to get even worse for that fella there. So it's going to pull Trump down on North Carolina more than he's already being pulled down. So Trump might as well just give up on North Carolina, move over to someplace like Wyoming or South Dakota or something like that. Concentrate on that where people like him at. I don't even think he can go to Iowa anymore because Kamala Harris was within 4 points of him just a week or so ago and gaining. So shoot, if she winds up winning Iowa, he's screwed, ain't he? So he needs to focus on some deep red states and just hold on to what he's got. What he needs to do. Stay out of North Carolina. I'm telling you, Trump. Just like hey, stay away from women too. Stop begging women to come vote for you. It's trying to trick them and stuff because they know the reason why that their lives are, in turmoil right now is because of you, Trump. They know that. So leave the women alone. Leave North Carolina alone. You ain't winning North Carolina anymore. That ain't yours. All right. But that Mark Robinson dude, though. Now I don't know about him. How do you just wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm black, but I'm a white supremacist? That's what I am. I bet he even changed his name. I bet his real name ain't even Mark Robinson. I bet it's not. I bet when he changed it, he was like, what's my last name going to be? I need something white. He said Robinson. Now, he wasn't thinking about Jackie Robinson. He was thinking about Swiss Family Robinson when he did that, what it was. And then Mark, not Marcus, Mark. So he went white with it, but he ain't fooling nobody. But his political career is over. I mean, well, so is Donald Trump's, if I'm being honest. But his political career is over after this. I don't know why he decided he's going to try to stay in the race anyway, but he just needs to give up. And he spent years and years and years looking for love online in the wrong places. But he could go find that love is what he needs to do. And I know the perfect person for him. It's convenient. Tim Scott, right there in South Carolina. They could meet in the middle while they put meat in the middle, right there. I mean, perfect for him. He don't have to go far. Tim Scott don't have to go far. They can fall in love. and do all that stuff. Hey, and then if things start getting stale, and they need to spice things up, you know what they got? Lindsey Graham. They could get Lindsey Graham involved, have them a little throuple, Lindsey Graham would be the cream in her little Oreo cookie, and they can all meet in the middle while they put me in the middle. And so he does have a future to look forward to. He can get out of politics and concentrate on what he really, really has been interested in all this time. So anyway, so there's always a silver lining, there's always a silver lining, and Trump's silver lining come November, 2 days before Thanksgiving, he don't have to worry about paying bills or any of that stuff anymore ever again. He'll get 3 meals a day, and he'll have free housing and all that stuff for life. Inmate Trump 2024.
Well, all right, y'all. I'm gonna read y'all comments. This has been fun. I'm gonna read what's going on in the chat over here. How y'all doing this evening? Please hit the like button. Thank you all for coming to my live. You are valued and you are appreciated. How did I get lipstick there? Oh, that is weird. I don't know how I got lipstick there. That's weird. Okay, I'm gonna read some of y'all comments. Okay. Alex the Face said, "Get a life, Nathan. Walls is great man, father, and governor. I like Tim Walz. He's done amazing things in Minnesota, and he is a man that knows how to do it all. I like that he can get down with the regular people like us and still be governor. He knows how to fix a vehicle. He knows how to talk to the students. He's a coach. He was a coach. He's governor of Minnesota. He handled the George Floyd situation with grace and the love of God. Bless up Kev. JD Vance is a non-factor. He's a non-factor. Trump doesn't care about him. Trump want him. JD Vance just need to go lay down. Take a nap. Take several naps. Not seats, naps. Former trucker Biden said he hooked good in red. Oh, he looked good in red. Okay. Change is pain. It don't cost you anything to take your nutty professor fat finger, double tap the screen to like the video. Okay, y'all hit the like button, please. Thank you. You all are valued. You all appreciate it. I am thankful to have you in my chat. Please hit the like button. It costs you nothing to hit the like button. I really need your support. Hit that like button. Come on now. Come on, hit that like button for me, okay? David White, Walls on family. I'm not reading that. That was made up, and the photo is not real either. That's just like, okay, my last name is what it is. And then somebody can easily say they're my relative, and they are not my relative. Like on Facebook, this lady, she was using my name and put her picture up and was pretending to be me. And I was on the cover of a magazine. She contacted the magazine and told them that was not her on the cover and that they had to remove me from the cover of the magazine. And I'm on the cover of a magazine. Anybody can pretend to be your relative. They could even fake and make people believe they are you. So the lady had my number because we had been communicating on doing the article, because I'm on the cover. I was a cover model. So she was like, did you send me this message on Facebook that you don't want to be on the cover of the magazine anymore? I was like, huh? I said, I've never done that. Show me what you're talking about. She sent me the message. The lady looks nothing like me. She's not fine and fabulous and can wear some military gear and be fine with it. No, she's not. But anyway, this lady pulled a stunt. And that's what those people that say they're Walls family are doing. They pulling stunts. They may have that last name, but they're pulling stunts. A lot of stunts. Lucky said, Cam 2024, keep the circus away from the White House. Okay. Tommy Brown Jr., even Joe Biden, he's not voting for Trump. That's not true. Okay. I'm being honest with you. He is not voting for Trump. He endorsed his VP, Queen Kamala Harris. Benjamin Baker, Kamala Harris, she is not a clown, but that is your opinion, okay? Jay Horn 729, I like her small business proposals. That she like so many great American political founding fathers. She has legal training. In that she isn't a financial crimes felon. But I was raised faculty right. Okay, then you had another message. Okay. Okay, Tommy Brown's. Okay, I'm not reading that. Tariq Busy said Kamala is better suited to be president. I feel that way too, but I'm going to respect the other people that's for their candidate in this chat. I feel the same way, Tariq. I do. Former trucker bet the line was white. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. But last up, just saying stuff I see, Tommy. That's Trump campaign in a nutshell. Okay, they people talking in the chat. Thank you for communicating with each other in the chat. Thank you. Rhonda, you just focusing on your own opinion. I ain't liking your crap. Okay, I respect your opinion. Okay. Alex DeFay, Wall's mother and wife both voting for Walls. Walls won his local election and governorship. Yes, he did. Alex Fay, Walls' community voted for him. I'm not reading that because that is, y'all, this is the thing. Kindness goes a long way. I went through this yesterday, and I'm not going to go to the level that you went to. I don't know why, for some reason. Honey, I have a daughter that came from my vajayjay. God bless me with a real vajayjay. I had no surgery. I'm a woman with very long hair. I'm born a woman. I look nothing like a man. I have a exceptionally beautiful beauty mark. I got a little makeup on it. I have real boobs and a nice tight butt for a 50-year-old woman and nice legs. Please stop putting that stuff in my chat. And I don't have a problem with trans. They're great people, but I'm not a trans. Nothing about me says trans. Be kind. Kindness goes a long way. And I'm going to show you a video because kindness goes a long way. We learn it as children, okay? Hunter, all the stuff Kamala is protesting, she should have already have done. She has done a lot of the things. She always have been working in housing. Always have. When I read her bio, and she was in the Senate as well, she always been helping with housing. So the things she was proposing about giving people $25,000 to purchase their first home, she's been working with housing. She's doing it now as VP. I even read you 40-something things that she has done since she's been in the White House. I read those things to you. David White, laugh out loud. They came out in an interview and y'all hypocrites blame Trump for saying fake news. The hypocrites is incredible. Bless your soul, okay? Tommy Brown Jr. said he's voting for a felon. That's your choice. It just wouldn't be my choice. I'm not a felon, not a criminal. I like prosecutors. I love Queen Kamala Harris. You have a right for your candidate to say what you want to say. Bless up, Kev. I can't have a felon for president. Me neither. How can I respect you and you're a criminal? How can I respect you? You do fraud. I can't. But I respect everyone's opinion here because they type in Trump in here. That is their candidate. Mr. D, he says Trump. Okay. Ricky Billings. Okay, I can't say that. That's profanity. I can't say that. Tommy Jr. again say I'm voting for a felon. Okay, that's your choice. John, he says Trump 2024. That is your candidate. I respect that. Oh, I see it. Thank you. But I didn't even realize it was like that. But I'm not going to worry about it because when you talk a lot and moving your lips and then when you drink something, it just goes further down. But thank you. I appreciate you. But we're going to be getting off in a little bit. I'll be okay because I'm going to wash my face, take a bath, eat, and go to bed. Now I got to exercise before I go to bed. Sean Palmer said, I want to see a woman president in my lifetime. You're 53, Sean. I'm 50 years old, and I want to see a woman president. I voted for Hillary Clinton when she was running for president because I want to see a woman president. Kamala Harris will make an excellent president. She has the credentials. She has the experience. She will be great. Let's see. Mr. Crevice said that Kamala says a lot of nothing. Okay, that is your opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion. Careless said, what's the point in the cheap camo? I love fashion, so I wear camo. I am a fashion queen, okay? I'm sorry if you don't love fashion. I do. You take care. God bless your soul. Okay, David White says, small business proposals, laughing my A off. Tell me you've never owned or operated a business. I own a business and I have had several businesses. Thank you. God bless you. Why didn't they hit, this is Daniel Rogers, why didn't they hit him with those charges in 2016? Investigating. It takes time to investigate. Okay. Change is pain. It don't cost you anything to take your nutty professor fat finger, double tap the screen to like the video. Thank you again. Please hit the like button, everybody. At least get me to 60. Thank you. Thank you so much, Victor. I think I corrected it, but I'm gonna be getting off here soon, so I'm not even worried about it because once I eat something, it's gonna be all over my face anyway. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tiggy. D says, show your feet. I'm not showing my feet, but I wear red toenail polish. Red is my favorite color. Joshua said, Trump 2024. Mr. D said, I feel bad for your child. Please don't do that. I've been being nice the whole time. Don't bring my child into this. You can say what you want to say. Do not disrespect me, and I will not disrespect you. As I stated, kindness goes a long way. We're taught that as children. Okay? Change is pain. You look good. Thank you so much. Thank you for blessing me with your kind words. It mean a lot. Mr. Brown say, but you look like a man though. Bless your soul, Mr. Brown. Bless your soul. Okay? But God bless me with a beautiful vagina. Thank you. Black man in America, lock him up. Lock him up. He's a fraudster with 34 felonies. Lock him up. Marvin Harrell said, you're beautiful. Thank you for your beautiful, kind words, because so many people on here want to come on here and spread the devil's words and be cruel. You can't get into heaven being ugly, and I'm not going to be ugly with y'all tonight because it caused wrinkles. I'm 50 years old, and I don't have wrinkles, and I don't get Botox. I'm naturally blessed and beautiful. Everything is real on me. God bless you all. Thank you, Marvin. Sky Shouter 2000. Why do hot wings hurt your? I'm not reading that. God bless you. DK asking to show my feet. I will not be showing my feet. They're beautiful like me. Mr. D, you must have a thing for trans because you continue to say that. I will be praying for you. Okay. Rick Billings, he said, laugh my da da da. Okay. Okay, some Twine said, but you talk with the mega, they don't think straight. Okay. A bunch of then Smoking Cloud said a bunch of sheep leading more sheep. I'm a infidel, corrupt politicians. Okay. Bless Up Kev said dump Trump. Well, he goes to court on the 26th of November, so we will see. Josh D. They are intimidated by an articulate and attractive woman of color. That's what the trans stuff is about. Bless their soul. I'm a black woman with very long hair, nice body. And go check out my community page. I am so blessed and highly favored by God. It is so sad that y'all come here and say the most ugliest things. But I said, God, I'm not going there tonight with them. I'm going to bless them with kindness. Okay? Owner says Trump 2024, MAGA 2024. Rick Billings, is that a Adam's apple? Bless your soul. Just bless your soul. I'm not going there with you. I do not have an Adam's apple. What I have is beauty that you're not used to. And y'all love to say it about Black women, that something is wrong with us. Y'all always doing it, but then y'all want to get with Black women. But your wives and girlfriends don't know you lay with Black women. God bless you. Owen Schuler said Trump 2024. Angela said Hunter, you still living in the past. I guess that she's talking about somebody, Hunter, in this chat. Janae Carter, so you can respect the side chick. I don't know what she's talking about because I wasn't talking about a side chick. Breaking news, Democrat arrested a Republican. When was this? Oh, you saying in the future when Trump going to be arrested? November 26th? Angela says no vote for blue. Blue. I guess she's saying y'all need to vote for blue because she says several blues in that comment. They're not fake charges. They're very real, Tommy Brown Jr. His charges are real. He's done a lot of fraud. Trump is a criminal. His charges are real. The felonies, 34 felonies, are very real. Letitia is going to lock him up. Letitia James. Yep. And Mr. Smith. Then again. Okay. Bless up said vote blue with the blue hearts. Yes. Vote blue. Thank you. And then Tommy Brown Jr. said vote Trump. Okay. Make America red. Okay, John, that's your opinion. I'm trying to see if I see somebody I haven't read. Somebody's coming I haven't read. Black man in America says Harris 2024. Who gonna win? Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Yes, they are. Yes, we will. Who gonna win? Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Oh, David Z said I should be president. I like that. Thank you so much. Thank you, David. Thank you for blessing me. So it's been great, y'all. I'm gonna, because I like to talk about love and kindness. So I'm gonna show y'all something because we need this in our life. We need to be better people. Oh, I didn't realize I turned my tablet off. Hold on. Kindness goes a long way, and it doesn't hurt anybody to be kind and spread love. It doesn't matter who your candidate is. I appreciate and I value each and every one of you. And I love all of you. And we are all God's children. And you are all kings and queens. That's what I think of you. Okay? There is power in kindness. Again, there is power in kindness. It doesn't hurt to be kind, okay? Kindness goes a long way. I notice y'all candid, but I thank you, Jesus, I don't look like that. Donald Trump has on makeup that's darker than me. Why do y'all candidate wear this makeup? I don't understand why he wears that makeup. Please get him some better makeup, please. Because that's a dark-skinned Black woman's makeup. Please help Donald Trump with his makeup. That is a dark-skinned Black woman's makeup. Somebody just text me. I'll just respond later. And this is a message. The church gets it. Look what the church says. Read it. Project 2025 should be called Project 666. That's what the church says. I feel the same way. It should be called 666. It is the work of the Antichrist. I want to say I thank each and every last one of y'all for coming to my live. Thank you for blessing me and staying on here with me tonight. We have 161 people in the chat. Please hit the like button before you leave out. Please. I appreciate all of you kings and queens. Please come back and visit me. You are valued in my chat. You are welcome to state your opinions about what you feel about each candidate. Long as we respect each other in the chat and we are kind and loving to one another, okay? Thank you all. God bless you. Have a good night. I love you all. Bye.